Alrighty, I think this is on. I think this is working. With everything set up, we're good to start. So, this is devlog. Um, for the objective today, we are writing hell. To open up Discord. Go to my Secrets of Blood server. Go to maps and handouts. Don't really need any of that, to be honest. I do want this on the background. So, what's the doc? No, it's not what I'm looking for. Okay, so it's quite late. Um, Time is 11:06. I have worked about 24 hours in the past 2 days, so I'm a bit tired. But I was hit with some big inspiration um, while I was laying down, and well, now I'm awake. Um, Awake and trying to write down some of these ideas I have. So, in my current campaign, the party is following this path to God. This path to God is split up through multiple dimensions, 7 to be exact. Um, and is separated into 7 different seals, each seal being hidden, stowed away into one, uh, one dimension. Um, One of the dimensions they're going to be going to is hell. And I've been struggling a lot with the topic of the day, and that is, well, making hell. Um, Greigroth. So, one big problem I was running into while sort of thinking of ideas for the past few weeks, really like month and maybe even more than 1 month. Um, I've just sort of been hitting my head against the wall with when it comes to like planning and writing for hell. Um, sure, I could take a Forgotten Realms approach, or I could take a, uniquely biblical approach, or maybe I could take some sort of Hinduism approach, but I didn't really like any of those options. Um, and all the same, I still knew that I wanted to do something with hell. I want to have the dimension they go to is going to be hell. Um, and it wasn't until one of my players described like what they perceive hell to be, just like as a person, uh, that I had any sort of progress that was being made in my any sort of progress being made in my creative conscious. And they described hell as divine punishment, which, is very obvious, but somebody else putting it into words is something that I found was interesting, um, and had not been words that I had used to do any of my planning yet. So I tried to take this idea and help do some development on like what is this divine punishment, and why, mostly why, are people being divinely punished. After that, I kind of hit a roadblock and decided to scrap all of the thinking and wanted to just make it into something that was uh, unbound by any sort of rules. Something that is so complex that the human mind, and like in any mortal mind, cannot comprehend it, because the more rooted in reality and laws the dimension is, the less one scary, two real it feels. When making hell, I feel like the more I create rules and justifications in history and stuff like that, it feels less and less immersive. Um, Hell should be something that is mysterious, something that is dangerous, but I do need the players to be able to engage with the world, and they're going to be doing so over the course of 2 levels. Um, and that is when I had an idea today. And how about I make it a domain of dread? So that's the goal. The players need to be here for several levels to explore the area for several levels, 2 to 3 to be exact, before they need to leave. Um, to accomplish this, as well as to maintain a thematic consistency, I need I need to develop a world that is large enough to prompt sandbox exploration. So I run a sandbox campaign. It has like there is a big campaign story, but uh, a big part of my campaign that is currently Greigroth Secrets of Blood, um, is providing sandbox opportunities. It's just the better thing for me. Um, I seem to function a lot better, uh, and more consistently when I have sandbox involved in my games. So it's very much a big theme of do what you want and be what you want. Um, this being said, uh, the players are invested into several main plot lines that they do pursue, but to further the idea of this being an open world game, I periodically cut off those plot lines, um, concealing them away and give the players time to invest their efforts into developing a different aspect of the world or themselves. Uh, and I want this to remain true even while they are going throughout these different dimensions that are the path to God. Um, I want this to be true while they are in hell. I want them to have the opportunity to find out something that's disconnected to the path to God. Some uncover secret lore about, the domain of dread that is hell. Um, Meet various NPCs or even perhaps, become very influential in certain aspects or areas of the world. Um, for Hell uh, to involve this sandbox exploration, um, or for any of them really, I need to make a map, right? And this has to be not just like a small map, not like a city map or anything like that. Sure, you can fit a campaign in a city, but when I say open world sandbox, I mean open world sandbox. So I'm gonna have to make a world map. Um, I imagine this domain of dread, so far from what I have in my mind, will be a bit smaller, and I'm going to elaborate on that here in a moment. And let's just get into a better understanding of how large this world map is, and find out some of the problems that will accrue from these small thoughts that I had while I was asleep. So, um, to accomplish this, whoops, I plan on how being very grounded and down to earth in some aspects, but uncannily warped in others. This way, the world is loosely understandable for the player characters, yet mysterious enough to proctor. Is that the word I'm looking for? Proctor. And yeah. But I need proc. Whoops, that's not what I want. Proc. Warrant, oh my gosh. Justify would not be a bad word. Alright. Justify. When I think of domains of dread, the first thing I think of is Strahd. This castle in the lands of Barovia, the weird mist that controls everything. He himself that actually controls everything. The souls, the weird creatures, the identifiable yet misunderstood yet unrelatable is what I'm looking for. Relatable sites and people groups. What do I mean by this? Well, the scene I would like to capture is one that is at first very simple and grounded. Buildings, and towns with simple architecture and cultures and cultural traditions, or simple architecture and people, just people, and people. Yet, I would like to incorporate signs of, confusing slash difficult to understand phenomenons, basically. Phenomena is the plural, okay. Things like, whoops, weird weather patterns, low population counts, or unchanging population counts. Unexplained yet easily assessed miracles, unexpected danger, and for people groups specifically, strange traditions within populations. Some examples of what I am envisioning. I'm gonna list some. I'm actually going to, instead of doing it like that, I'm going to underline this, enter, stop there, tab, a castle with a large castle and city on an open plain with little to no connecting settlements. This city slash castle has a lower has a lower population for the size of the city. Perhaps there are vacant houses or just singular houses. person. That's an example of what I'm thinking of. I'm actually gonna... I don't know if this is possible. That's what I'm looking for. What else? Weather patterns that are more aligned to what we perceive hell as what we imagine hell to be. Rainfall and storm clouds of fire. Fire and brimstone instead of rain and hail. Smoke. Smoke-filled horizons in the early mornings instead of fog. I have no idea how I formatted it like I just had it, but and unchanging seasonal cycles are and unpresent really or absent and the absence seasonal cycles. All those things are very eerie to see, especially when you are first introduced into something that seems normal. Oh, grassy plain. I'm gonna highlight this and add a comment. Despite being a large open grassy plain, there are no plants. And there are no flowers in the area. Flowers trees in the area. There are trees. There are trees. There are very, very, very few of them. Maybe one every X distant. Which is equidistant from one another in each direction. Just to make it more airy. I can't spell equidistant. What else am I thinking of? Strange traditions. The people worship gods that are unfamiliar to PCs. To the PCs. These beings only exist in this domain. These beings and their worship only exist in this domain. Additionally, these gods act in very strange ways. Both in their response to prayer and in their response to, what is it when you damn something, like when you disagree, and treachery, prayer, worship. What is the opposite of worship? Loath. Prayer. Protest. Lastly, not only are the gods and how not only are the gods weird, and not only are the way the gods are worshipped weird, or no, not only are the gods weird, and not only do the gods act in strange ways, but they are also the gods are also worshipped in strange and unfamiliar ways. This is where I would love to get in divine punishment, because I want the way that the gods are worshipped to be innately uh, torturous. Torturous. Yeah. I want it to be innately torturous to the individual who is praying. Um, things like binding themselves with heavy shackles and objects and forced to go on voyages. Um, it needs to be, the players need to go into the area and see people worshiping the gods and ask themselves, why are they torturing themselves? That is what I want. I want the players to be I want the player characters to be in such confusion that they can only speculate as to why these people, these residents, are literally killing themselves in horrible ways in the name of worship. Um, this is where I look to my second source of inspiration. My first source being let me bold this. One, Domain of Dread. Two, the game Blasphemous. That is what I want. And then the last source of inspiration that I had while laying down um, was Elden Ring. And um, so Blasphemous and Elden Ring match up with one another when it comes to uh, their size and how the game looks, how the scenes look, the verticality and the confusion. That's what I want. Um, the setting is where Elden Ring and Blasphemous have overlap. Um, I don't know if the Domain of Dread and Blasphemous and the Domain of Dread have overlap in the setting as well. Do this, and really, I don't want to do that. I want to do like that, and in a different way they have overlap with the setting. I don't know. Domain of Dread and Elden Ring have any overlap. I can't envision it. Open world. Okay. I've been able to overlap them all in some way or form. So that's good. Alright, cool. So, really, where I would like to go from here, I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon because I'm getting kind of tired. But this is very good progress. A few last notes I want to like just say to myself, and maybe I'll jot them down afterwards. Is that the leader of Hell, Babylon? He has basically all control over what happens, and is really big on creating these spaces of uh, these almost liminal spaces, right? Space and time can shift in any sort of room, and is very willing to alter these very fundamental things um, in order to confuse whoever more. Uh, I think I would love to play into the idea that hell is a multitude of. Basically, hell is a multitude of. There's a word I'm looking for. Domains of dread throughout every timeline. So Babylon exists basically across every timeline, everywhere, like at the same time, all at once. And the hell, like the hell that is there, exists for the reason of like it exists and takes form of what can be most relatable to the material world. So I have castle in here because, of course, I'm running a high fantasy game that basic medieval stuff. But like you could have like think like a transit from Call of Duty. That could be one of the domains of dread that is hell. Is a transit from Call of Duty for a Greigroth that has World War II firearms, um, that sort of thing. Uh, with all that in mind, I think I'm good. I don't know if there's much else I have to do. Not right now, at least. This was some good writing. Um, Yeah, no, this is good, good stuff. Cool. Well, that's gonna be the first devlog. Um, I'm gonna upload this right away. And yeah, I'll hopefully upload more in the future. Um, but talk to you guys later. I talk to myself later, I guess. I have to go to bed because I got work tomorrow. And it's been a super long day. Uh, this has definitely got me amped for what's to come in the future. Next devlog, I should be preparing for my next session. So I'll probably make that one and then upload it after the session. Um, maybe. Or maybe I won't and instead just plan for the session before the devlog. Or I just plan for the session outside of the devlog. Uh, uh, devlog developer stuff come back for, continuing the work on this document. That sounds more appealing. So yeah. No devlog for session, instead devlog for doing this world building. I'll eventually have a devlog for making the map of hell, um, and getting into the nitty gritty stuff. But for now, these are just, some ideas I had late at night, and I am happy. This has been a huge relief because I was stuck in dead water, unsure of what I wanted to do. But I think I have a vision now that I can be satisfied with. There's a bit more I didn't type that I have in mind, but yeah. Alright, talk to you guys later.